How to trade the poor man's cover call on Webull. I'll try to make this just as easy as I can, but with Webull's features, it's going to be a bit of a painful process. All right, so let's start by selecting the stock we want to use. We'll do Amazon in this case. We can switch over to the option tab. The first thing you want to do is change the option strategy to diagonal. Yes, technically all poor man cover calls are diagonal spreads. And if you don't believe me, if you have this interpretation toggle button checked, you can scroll down to the long diagonal bull call spread. You can see here that it says after the short leg expires, a new short leg can be opened to create a diagonal or vertical spread. So that's exactly what the strategy is when you do a poor man's cover call. We're selling short calls against our long call, and ideally that long call is a lead. So we can see that this will be the proper strategy. So to do that, first we want to get your option chain looking like mine. So you can hit the config button at the bottom right there, and you want to do sort by strike price ascending and list style list view. And if we go back, we can now click on the +1 EXP. This is where we could set the width of expirations. So we want to make sure that when we're looking at this setup, we want to have one that's going to be short term and then one that's relatively long term. Ideally, you want to be at least 6 months out for a poor man's cover call. I like to go at least a year. It's kind of hard to calculate in this interface, but you can just think 12 expirations per year, give or take. So we'll go to 15 to see if that gets us to where we want to be. And by chance, this first one is actually perfect. It has the short call expiring next week and then the long call expiring just over a year from now. So we could start with that one. And here's where it becomes a bit difficult because with Webull's current features, we can't set the strike width. And you can see that these are all width of 5, which is not all we want for a poor man's cover call. We want something more like around 50 or so, which means we're going to have to set up these legs manually. So just go ahead and select any whole number strike pair to see the order form. Definitely do not hit buy now. We need to manually set up these legs to look more like a poor man's cover call. So if we look at the one that we're purchasing, that's at the 165 level. That actually looks pretty good for right now because Amazon is trading around 207, so that is relatively deep in the money. So we can leave that for now, and then let's go ahead and change this one that we're selling. We definitely don't want to be selling something at 160. We want to update the strike price to be something that's out of the money. So with Amazon trading around 207, we'll probably want to pick something like 215 to start and hit done. So this is looking a little bit better, and we can hit the diagonal tab here to view the P&L chart. Now, if you're the type of trader that only cares about the combined Greeks, you can view that here and play around with the strikes to get what you want. I know the general rule of thumb for this type of strategy is having a delta around 0.6. That way you don't have too much of a downside if the underlying just brutally blasts through your short strike price. But if you're like me and you want to take into consideration the volume and the individual Greeks, you're going to have to do that analysis on a different app or whatever your preference is. Not trying to run a plug here, but I do use Moomoo for all my technical analysis, and I like the format of the option chain data. So we could bounce over that real quick to see if we want to alter this anymore. So let's start by looking at our long call. That was the one that was expiring on December 19th, 2025, and we had the 165 selected. I mainly just want to confirm that we're around a zero point 0.8 delta. So we scroll over here, looks like the delta is 0.82, 170 is 0.8, but it looks like I could save around $400 by doing the 170, but I think I'm going to stick with the 165. So I'm just gonna put that in there real quick, and then we could look at our short call. We had the 220 or no 215 selected, and I just want to confirm that we're around a zero point 0.2 delta on this one. Looks like the delta is a 0.19. The 215 is almost like a 0.3. That's way too high. So I think the 215 is pretty good. We could select that. And then we didn't get to see the max profit if we decided to close the entire position at the expiration date of the short call. So it's nice to see that it's $662 just for more information. So I am feeling pretty good about this setup. So we could go back to the Webull app here, out of this, and fine tune our limit price. Then submit when you're ready. So there you have it, a simple guide on how to trade the poor man's cover call on Webull. Happy trading.